This is and will always be the process. Everything will and should be notarized, which you can go to the bank, Wells Fargo, or any bank that offers a notary. You typically do not have to have an account. Check your local banks. Notary can get expensive, $10 to $25. Also, you will need to send everything certified mail with green return slip, and or you can do priority mail. You want to be able to track and have proof they received the documents. So guideposts is and always US code and CFRs on the public side. The process will always be this: validation of any debt to consumer reporting agencies. All debts should be validated pursuant to 15 U.S. Code 1692G, validation of debts. This will be sent to the consumer agencies, which will send any and every company the notice. We are about to build our case. Put all validation letters in separate envelopes so the companies will not be alert to what you are doing because they will gang up on you. I am living proof of this. These are good to knows. 15 U.S. Code 1681C, requirements relating to information contained in consumer reports. 15 U.S. Code 1681E, compliance procedures. Validating the debt now puts all companies on notice as well as consumer reporting agencies. Remember, they have protocol they must follow. Anything on consumer report is a transaction that has taken place. Whether it went through or not, someone is making money on the public side and or private side. 15 U.S. Code 1681I, procedures in case of dispute accuracy. So we requested validation of debt. Now we want to gather evidence. They have 30 days to respond. If you are cleaning your consumer reports, you just wait them 30 days. If you want to go after your inheritance to get your 40 acres and your mule, then we are going into the billing error process. So know what you want. Are you ready to pull yourself out the matrix? Because that is what billing error process is doing. You're claiming your credits. Our guideposts, 15 U.S. Code, Chapter 41, Consumer Credit Protection. Dealing with the Consumer Reporting Agency, Subchapter 2A, Credit Repair Organization, Subchapter 3, Credit Reporting Agency, Subchapter 4, Debt Collection Practices. 12 CFR Chapter X, Bureau of Consumer Financial Protection, is where you find your corresponding laws that goes with your U.S. codes. Consumer reporting agencies. After 30 days, they should have sent you the 5 requirements to validate the alleged debt. A. Notice of debt. Contents within 5 days after the initial communication with the consumer in connection with the collections of any debt. A debt collector shall, unless the following information is contained in the initial communications or the consumer has paid the debt, send the consumer a written notice containing 1. The amount of debt. 2. The name of the creditor to whom the debt is owed. 3. A statement that unless the consumer within 30 days after receipt of the notice disputes the validity of debt or any portion thereof, the debt will be assumed to be valid by the debt collectors. 4. Statement that if the consumer notifies the debt collector in writing within the 30-day period that the debt or any portion thereof is disputed, the debt collector will obtain verification of the debt or a copy of judgment against the consumer, and a copy of such verification or judgment will be mailed to the consumer by the debt collectors. And number 5, a statement that upon the consumer's written request within the 30-day period, the debt collector will provide the consumer with the name and address of the original creditor if different from the current creditor. The company should have sent the consumer reporting agencies this information. So the companies, unless otherwise providing the consumer reporting agencies the requirements, violations have occurred on both ends because we know and read they have certain procedures they must follow. You should know what you want on your consumer report and what you don't want. Did you know to show an extension of consumer credit on your report is a violation? Did you know unless giving permission in writing with written instructions the consumer reporting agencies are violating? Did you ever give anyone permission to have a report of your character and reputation? Is that not what a consumer report is? Go find your violations because next they must cure, which is to fix. 30 days went by. You should have your codes and laws. You should know what you want on and off your credit. So now a letter to cure will be wrote up. Cure means to eliminate or correct a violation or defect. Simply state what you want on or off your consumer report. The codes and CFRs that back up the reason you can have things removed off your consumer report and or file. Yes, credit report and credit file are different. Credit file has more of your information than report. You should have already got your consumer report and consumer file. Letter to cure, you can give them 15 days. Also make a complaint with Consumer Financial Protection Bureau after the 15 days is up, and they usually respond before the 15 days. After that, you will put them in default. A default is a failure to fulfill an obligation. Defaulting is most common in regards to debtor, creditor law, and contract law. Default, I give 72 hours, then we are headed to court. Validate pursuant to 15 USC 1691G. Then 2, letter to cure, which is to correct mistake. Number 3, default letter, last warning to correct wrong. You will be headed to district court, so you must go to your local court's website to get the correct forms you will need to start a civil case. You got your evidence and your letters with your certified mail and green return slips. All documents should be notarized under jurat, which is an oath. Your notary is powerful. Your notary is a deputized officer of the state. District court proceedings. Number 1, you're going to need a cover sheet. Number 2, you're going to need your complaint. Number 3, summons. Number 4, proof of service if serving on your own. Number 5, your pleading. Number 6, fee waiver. Number 7, sheriff instructions, and that is for Cali. If your fee waiver is accepted, the sheriff or marshal will serve the defendant or defendants on your behalf. California, we fill out the sheriff instructions so they know who to serve. Nevada, upon approval of the fee waiver, marshal serve the defendants. Check your local rules. What will we be sending and to whom? How do we find the information? To find the registered agent and CEO of a company, we can also go to rocketreach.com to find CEOs and their email addresses. Also, you can go to DMB for information, which is Dun and Bradstreet. Google is our best friend. You can also go to the Secretary of your state and look up that information, any company as well, because they will be registered through the Secretary of State. We are going to send our billing error notice to the customer service on the back of your bill. We want to build our case. We deal with customer service this one time. After we put customer service on notice, we will only deal with the CEO of the company and register. Dealing with your billing error, which is going to be your inheritance. Subchapter 1, Consumer Credit Cost Disclosure. Subchapter 4, Equal Credit Opportunity. Subchapter 5, Electronic Fund Transfer. 12 CFR Chapter X, Bureau of Consumer Financial Protection, is where you find your corresponding laws that go with your U.S. codes. Moving on to the billing error pursuant to 15 USC 1666. We already put the consumer agencies on notice, so the companies know they have 5 requirements to give the consumer agencies. Now we will put the companies on notice of billing error. You should get all bills in paper form. That means stop paying your bills online. They send you a coupon every month. You must claim it. So you have your bills in paper form. Look on the back of your bill. It should say billing error or billing dispute, billing mistake, billing summary, etc. And here's the back of a bill, and it says billing right summary. Okay. So as you see, if you have a billing error dispute, you have requirements to meet. They tell you your requirements, your name, an account number, the amount in question, and the reason you believe a billing error took place. 15 USC 1666 A 123. A written notice by obligor to creditor, time for and contents of notice procedures upon receipt of notice by creditor. If a creditor within 60 days after having transmitted to an obligor a statement of the obligor's account in connection with an extension of consumer credit receives at the address disclosed under section 1637B10 of this title a written notice other than notice on a payment stub or other payment medium supplied by the creditor, if the creditor so stipulates with the disclosure requirements under section 1637A7 of this title from the obligor, in which the obligor, number one, set forth or otherwise enables the creditor to identify the name and account number, if any, of the obligor. Number two, indicates the obligor's belief that the statement contains a billing error and the amount of such billing error. And number three, sets forth the reason for the obligor's belief to the extent applicable that the statement contains a billing error, that creditor shall, unless the obligor has given such written notice and before the expiration of time limits herein specified, agree that the statement was correct. So we have an obligation. Let's write our billing error notice. Name Sally McMuffins, account number, amount. I believe this bill is in error because blah, blah, blah. So what constitutes as a billing error? Let's find out. We know our requirements. Let's find their requirements. B. Billing error. For the purpose of this section, a billing error consists of any of the following. Number one, a reflection on a statement of an extension of credit which was not made to the obligor, or, if made, was not in the amount reflected on such statement. Number two, a reflection on a statement of extension of credit for which the obligor requests additional clarification, including documentary evidence thereof. Number three, a reflection on a statement of goods or services not accepted by the obligor or his designee or not delivered to the obligor or his designee in accordance with the agreement made at the time of transaction. Number four, the creditor's failure to reflect properly on a statement of payment made by the obligor or credit issued to the obligor. Number five, a computation error or similar error of accounting nature of the creditor on a statement. Number six, failure to transmit the statement requirements under section 1637B of this title to the last address of the obligor which has been disclosed to the creditor unless that address was furnished less than 20 days before the end of the billing cycle for which the statement is required. Number seven, any other error described in regulations of the Bureau. If you comply, they cannot take adverse action against you. My bad, you guys. I am sleepy right now. Okay, just keeping it real, but I want to get this video. Okay, C, action by creditor to collect amount or any part thereof regarded by obligor to be a billing error. D, restricting or closing by creditor of account regarded by obligor to contain a billing error. E, effect of noncompliance with requirements by creditor. Because you are exercising your rights, the companies by law shouldn't close your account. Report to the consumer agencies the amount in question as being late or request payment for the amount in question. Honestly, I say stay in honor and pay that bill if possible. They will illegally take adverse action. Be prepared, because you guys know Capital One, Discover, they all closed down my accounts because I was exercising my rights, because I was doing the billing error process. They closed my accounts. They reported them to my consumer reporting agencies like I paid late. When on my report, I pay my bills on time, ahead of time, every time. And they ruined my reputation because I was just simply exercising my rights. So definitely be prepared. Okay, 15 U.S. Code 1691, scope of prohibitions. I think I said that wrong. Prohibitions, my bad, you guys. I'm sleepy. I probably should have waited to do this video, but nevertheless, I'm human. We make mistakes, so let's keep going. Okay, A, activities constituting discrimination. It shall be unlawful for any creditor to discriminate against any applicant with respect to any aspect of a credit transaction. 3, because the applicant has in good faith exercised any rights under this subchapter. And I think I still fucked that up. Prohibit. Whatever. Okay, let's get our packets together. Billing error notice is number 1. 2, affidavit of truth, which is cease and desist, rescission of contract. Number 3, conditional of acceptance, which is going to be your new contract that you're writing up. Number 4 is your remit, which is going to be your bill. Number 5, laws and codes, which are your U.S. codes and your CFRs. Packet number 1 goes to customer service. 1, billing error notice. 2, affidavit of truth, cease and desist, rescission of contract. Number 3, your remit, which is your bill. Number 4, laws and codes, U.S. codes and CFRs. Packet number 2 goes to CEO. Number 1, billing error notice. Number 2, affidavit of truth, which is cease and desist, rescission of contract. Conditional of acceptance, which is your new contract, your remit, which is your bills, your laws and your codes, which is your U.S. code and your CFRs. Okay, and with your cease and desist, make sure that you don't just tell them to cease and desist. You want to say cease and desist unless otherwise providing, because if you just tell them to cease and desist, that means not to contact you, and they will play them games. So make sure it's a cease and desist with special conditions to it. Packet number 3 goes to register agent. Billing error notice. Number 2, affidavit of truth, cease and desist, rescission of contract. Number 3, your conditional of acceptance, which is your new contract. And number 4, laws and codes, U.S. code and CFRs. We already requested validation, which is 30 days to respond, letter to cure, which is 15 days, and then letter of default, which I give them 72 hours. Okay, they never responded, so they are in default. What's next? We have 2 options. We can go to small claims or arbitration. Most companies have an arbitration clause, so that means we cannot do class action lawsuits, multi-people suing at once. We must go after these companies as individuals. Small claims forms, you will need 5 to 10K is max, which you will get in small claims. So, number one, you will go to your local court website, self help center. Number two, you're going to need your cover sheet. Number three, your complaint. Four, summons. Five, fee waiver. Six, proof of service if serving documents yourself. Number seven, your fee if paying for your case. You need your terms and conditions because it will let us know what companies we must go through to arbitrate. Guideposts, CFPB, or simply Google. Credit card agreement database, the CFPB maintains a database of credit card agreements for hundreds of credit issuers. You can search for a agreement by the name of the issuer. And in some of my previous videos, I did show you guys, I took you guys to the CFPB and I took you to where the credit card agreements is so you can look it up. But go on the website if you don't know or refer to video, and I've done so many, don't exactly know what video, but it's there somewhere. Okay. No class action. So when you look on the back of your bills, it's going to say no class action. And that's where the arbitration clause comes in because they don't want a group of people coming after them at once. So we have to either do small claims or arbitrate as individuals. Arbitration clause and how to reject arbitration clause. Now, when you typically, open up a new account, you have within, I believe, like 30 days to opt out of arbitration clause. But honestly, nobody goes over this information with us when by law they are supposed to. And secondly, nobody really reads the fine print. So that's dumb on our behalf because we should read all through, these contracts because that's exactly what we're doing. We're signing ourselves into a contract unknowingly, not getting full disclosure like we're supposed to by law. But you can opt out of the arbitration clause. Just look on the back of your papers because you should be getting all your bills in paper form, not paying anything online. And that's how they get us. Most companies use AAA or JAMS. Do your own due diligence. If you have the money, you can pay the fee, which for AAA, the fee is $200. If you do not have the money, you can write the company's legal department and send the company your invoice. Now, from my experience, arbitration is better than small claims, being you can get a higher reward. Small claims, you usually get 5K to 10K max. Now, AAA is private and for the companies, not the consumer. AAA, American Arbitration Association, did not follow procedures. I rather get this on record. AAA will try to nickel and dime we the consumers because they played me, you guys. They did not follow procedure. They did not have my cases, up there. So if something is on record, which all these companies ganged up on me at once because I filed multiple cases as at once, so just be mindful, okay? You will send a demand to arbitrate. Wait, let me run that back. You will send a demand to arbitrate form found on AAA website. You will send your invoice to have them pay the fee. You will need your terms and your conditions as you will upload all that to the AAA website to initiate your case. You also want to download Subpoena Dusum Tecum. That is very important. That is to subpoena the companies to bring in the evidence, which once again, they did not follow procedure. So even though that I did summons them, they never followed procedure through arbitration. Okay. Like I said, arbitration is private and there for the companies, but we still have protocol that we must do on our end. So before we can litigate, we have to go through small claims or arbitration. AAA arbitration roadmap. So this basically is just going to let you know how everything is going to go down once you start initiating things, where you go from there. You can find this on their website, so you do not be confused, because they'll try to confuse you, test you, and play you as well. Now, if you're like me, doing 7, companies at a time, that's where I messed up at. I should have did one at a time, but hey, go big or go home. So they all ganged up on me, but this is their procedures on how they are supposed to, follow whatever. If you do not settle in small claims or arbitration, you can now litigate. You will go to your local court's website or courthouse to find local rules and forms. Forms you will need: number 1, your cover sheet; 2, complaint; 3, summons; 4, pleading; 5, fee waiver; 6, proof of service if serving defendant yourself; 7, fee if paying; 8, subpoena dusum tecum to have them bring in documentary evidence. Can be named different, varies from states. Should be in every case. They must bring in evidence. Also, you want the form to call in witnesses. When you go to the courts, most importantly, you need to make sure you have your cause in action. That is where your pleading comes in. You want to show why you have a right to sue and collect damages. Reason it is very important to build your case. I screenshot emails because they can't erase the emails. Got proof they do. Use a voice recorder to record your calls. They already record our calls, so it shouldn't be an issue if we record on our end. You must tell them, though. Cause of action. Guideposts, Law Cornell. I'm not reading through all of that, but you guys can go ahead and read through it. Okay, your pleading is very important. You want to Google your local, federal, and state rules. Usually you can download the form, which will have the correct margins. Or if you are creating your own pleading documents, you must make sure your margins, font size, and font is according to your local rules. Google. Go to your self-help. Your pleading should be formatted as so. Number 1, a caption identifying the plaintiff and defendant, the court in which the complaint is being filed. Number 2, a brief description of the parties, their name and addresses, like the introduction. Number 3, allegations demonstrating that the court has subject matter jurisdiction, personal jurisdiction, and venue to adjudicate the claims in the complaint. Number 4, a concise yet thorough statement of the factual allegations that form the basis of your complaint. Number 5, the specific legal claims or cause of action in separate counts that allegedly entitle you to a legal remedy. Number 6, a specific request for damages or other relief, such as compensatory damages, punitive damages, or injunction. That's horrible. I'm sleepy, y'all. I'm sleepy. I'm struggling. I hope you all enjoy the information. This will and always be the process on the public side as a debtor. Nothing more, nothing less. If you want your 40 acres and your mule, you must go through this process to truly be debt-free and get out the matrix. It doesn't matter your tax bracket, religion, color/shade. You have endless opportunities and power when you know how to play on this board, whether you are public or private. They want me to change my core beliefs to suit their insecurities. This shit is wild because I'm not going to do it. I'm not a good slave. However, I see many slaves thinking they are better than the next slave because of color, religion, even a tax bracket. A slave is a slave, and none of the above makes a difference. We all been fooled and slaves. I'm just here to balance out the scales and play the game with honor as I have, and I am doing. I have 7 cases in federal court against many CEOs who are not following procedures. Once an individual knows their rights, if you don't know your rights, that's on us as individuals by law. There is no excuse for ignorance of the law. However, when we wake up, they have laws and procedures they must follow, and they are not, because most are incompetent. I never had to go this far, so I don't know my outcome. However, I know what I know because I read, apply, and execute. If the government websites I take us to and laws don't have to be followed, then why have a system? All must be held accountable in these higher up positions and not just the underprivileged. They say we are the land of the free. Well, they need to follow law as we all do. All should be looked upon as equal and treated as equal. We have been bankrupt since 1933. These companies are operating outside of the bankruptcy. They cannot tell you how to pay your bills. We utilize instruments, BOE, which are bills of exchange, drafts, promissory notes, etc. According to 18 U.S. 8, United States Inc. has an obligation to we the people. It's time to hold them accountable. We are playing on a monopoly board, game of life. I just find the info and want all to have a fair chance to play the game correctly, lawfully, not legally. That makes me a threat because I am bringing awareness to all communities, because I am universal love. I am only here to do a job, as I am a vessel sent to help humanity by my Father, which is God. Our free will has been taken away, and for that I am here to rebalance out the scales. I believe in law above and below. I have been stripped of all I have worked for. I have been attacked and bullied to shut up. I fear no man, as my Father tells me what to do, and I walk in faith. The thing that makes us different is the hard work and energy one puts in self and others. We should be judged not based on sexual orientation, shade/color, tax bracket, or religion. We should solely be judged on the action towards one another. I believe in a system, but not in the current individuals running the system. I am universal love. I will and can never. Wait, I fucked that up. My bad. I will and cannot change that. However, I am here for the poor. I believe if we knew better as a whole, we would and will do better. Here is our opportunity to show them what we are made of. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. I probably should have waited to do the video, but I wanted to go ahead and get this out. And I'm tired, it's 11:47. So I'm still gonna upload it, all imperfections or whatever, because like I say, I'm not perfect. I'm just in human form. But I hope you guys enjoyed. So I'm out. Bye.